Alright guys, so welcome back. We're going to do mountains today, a tutorial for mountains. This is just one way to do mountains. This is how I do my mountains. Obviously spray paint mountains. Now we're going to need black spray paint, and we will use white spray paint as well. You can use other colors for your mountains, but we're going to keep it pretty simple today. Show you how it's done. Something with a flat edge, like this poster board. We're actually going to cut this up in the sections. You can use a palette knife if you want, but we're going very simple here. So cut them about an inch, half inch, 3/4 inch wide. Just cut them down into strips. Doesn't matter how long the strips are. We're going to cut these the other way into little sections to make little miniature palette knives, little disposable palette knives. Alright, so you get your stack, cut them into, I usually go about an inch, inch and a half here in little squares. Now see, because little palette knife, grab some paint, put the paint on. You can use a brush, you can use whatever you want for this. Here, you can skip this part if you prefer to use a brush or something else for this, or another way that you've seen done. Now figure out where you want your mountain to be. Grab your paint plate over here. It's just a piece of cardboard, poster board. You can use a paper plate or something. Make sure you shake your cans really well. Alright, so put some down. Start with the black. Grab your little piece of board here and then just make the outline of your mountains. Nothing special, nothing fancy, however you want your mountains to be. And just wipe down and smear it into the shape you want it to be. Pretty straightforward. Now, no mountains look, perfect, or you don't have to make them look like you've seen them in a book. You can use that as a reference if you want them to look like that. You can make round mountains like hills with it if you want. Really steep, pointed mountains. Whatever mountains come to your imagination that you want to make. This also works if you're just making little rocks. You can make little rocks, boulders or something. Icebergs, I guess if you want to make some icebergs, that would work for that as well. So we put our mountain in the back, and we're going to put one in the front here. Now, you can finish the mountain in the back, would probably be the best way to do this, and then come back through and do the mountain in the front. But I like to complicate things for myself. Alright, so we'll paint this one here, and I like to try to leave a small guideline of where the edges from the one side to the other. See how I'm doing right there, from the front to the back, where the cliff line, I guess you would call it. See, there it is, right there, cliff line. And then it's going to get covered up later, but it's just a kind of a reference for when we do our layers. Keep adding black when you need it, and if your poster board gets too wet and starts getting too soggy on you there from the paint, you have a pile of them, put that one to the side, get a new one. And here, like I said, I like to make things complicated for me. We're just going to throw another mountain in here. Let's see there, it's all wet, no good. Grab a new one, get some paint on there, and continue. Just keep adding a little bit of paint at a time. You don't want a huge puddle, it will dry over there on you. You'll just be wasting a bunch of paint. And just finish your mountains. Whatever comes to mind. Most of my mountains tend to be pretty pointed. Never really personally seen a mountain up close and personal or anything. I live way down in the southeast in the United States. Don't really have any mountains down here. No mountains down here in Florida, and if there is, they're probably underneath a gator or a pile of mosquitoes, right? So just layer the black in. No specific way. I like to, here at the bottom, as you see, I kind of bring it out like it's kind of dirt, bottom of the mountain. It'll all get covered up somewhat at the end. Alright, so we got that. We kind of figure out where our light source is. We do have a stencil here somewhere for that, just to make a little quick light source for a reference point. Here we go. Thick cardboard like this is not a great stencil, just so you know. But I was trying it. Alright, so there's our moon, sun, something. It's blue. Who knows? Our light source coming in this way. So that's going to be the brighter side of our mountains. So I'll grab some black, grab a little white, mix it together to give us just a gray color. Grab you a clean poster board, or you could use the old black one. It probably wouldn't matter with the black right here. Mix it until you get the color you want. If you're not sure, you can grab a little, start laying it down on the dark side, the shadowed side of your mountains, and see what it looks like. Might need to be a little lighter than that. Let's see. It's not bad. I'm going to go a little lighter. So a little more white. Mix it in. Okay. Just get it right to the consistency, the color that you want it to be. It's looking a little better. Just start filling it in. Shadow side first. Some mountains you'll see some technique things will leave the one side completely dark, the way you're black on the bottom, and just highlight the other side with the light, and those look really cool too. You can do however you feel works best for you. Other tutorials might show you a completely different way to doing it. I've seen 3 or 4 different ways of doing it. This is just how I've done it, and it comes out looking pretty nice for a mountain. I mean, it's a mountain. I don't think there's really a wrong way to make a mountain. Alright, so darken up our light so you can already see it coming together now. You see the dark side there. It's starting to look good. We're going to do a couple of layers on this. Alright, get some more in there. And this one's just a little lighter, actually. That's alright. Look at that. Alright, so find your cliff line, which actually now I've passed the cliff line, but wherever we want it to go, you're going to change it up as you go. Maybe make a little cliff line right there. Who knows? It might look good. It might look, I don't know. It's a mountain. Like I said, I don't think there's a bad look to any mountain, as long as you get some colors in on it and you have a lighter side towards your light source and a darker side, and it kind of looks like a rock. It's a good mountain, you know. And these are just kind of beginner mountains for you to try out at home if you have never made a mountain before. This technique here will work with acrylics as well. The process might be slightly different. I mean, I've done it the exact same way with acrylics, without letting them dry in between. Some will tell you each layer you should let completely dry before you come back and do the next one. I'm impatient, and it comes out alright. I'm sure it'll look a lot better if you definitely let each layer dry, so keep that in mind. Now, I think we'll go a little lighter now, our next layer. So we got our white, mixing it with a little bit of old gray that was there. Now we'll do our gray on our light side. And you can make these look like snowy mountains by adding a lot more white. You can leave them, take some of the white out of it and add in some greens or some browns. Just give it more of a rocky outlook rather than a snowy mountain, which is what we're going to go with today, is some snowy mountain. You can give it an alien look or something if you want to throw in some other colors like purples and really bright blues or pinks. Anything you want for your mountain. It's your mountain. It's your world. Make it how you want it. Alright, our light side is kind of the same side color as our darker side, but it's alright. We're going to lighten it up again. So in a new palette board in here, little poster board. I call them little palette boards. We'll put some white down at the bottom, away from our old gray there, and just start putting on the next layer. A little white, just kind of give a little line and smear them down. Smear them down. It's gonna, because we didn't let this dry, there's gonna smear into the old one, the other layer that we had just put down, and it gives it a dirty look. And to me, that works. I mean, mountains are rocks, dirt, sand. They're not exactly got a clean look to them, at least to most of them. So, little highlights wherever you think they should go. Kind of put this on the back side for some odd reason. And darken it in there. A little bit more white. Get out of the way, poster board. He wants to play next. Alright, so we got some white on that. Maybe move on to our other one here in a minute. There we go. Some snowy tops. Now remember, I made 2 mountains over here on the side. 2 separate ones. But then as I'm going into it, I was thinking that maybe it should just be one mountain over here, not 2. Because the way they blended together, it just kind of works like that. So just keep that in mind. You never know. I mean, what you're painting in, you've got it set in your mind. You're just kind of freestyling it. You're putting in your colors, and it just kind of changes on you. And it's not always a bad thing. It can work out. There we go. Make it one mountain. See, that's starting to look like a mountain right there. What do you guys think? That's starting to look like a mountain. Give a little touch, give a little peek up here. Remember, we still got another layer to put on this too. Kind of bring it out some more. Get this peak up here and the light hit it. Just random cliff areas. There we go. So, when your post board gets too wet, you grab another one, like I've said, and use just some more paint. Now, because I didn't let these layers dry, every time I put the poster board down on the mountain and then bring it back and get some more paint, I'm bringing back a little of that darker color on the underside of the other layer, and that's why now down my bottom of my board that's starting to be a bit gray. So we're going to use it to go on this back side here and give a couple little highlights to the back side of the mountain. And now we need a little new piece and a new spot on our board here that's all white. Now, to get a really bright white, you just want to tap it in there. Let it just, you don't want to do much smearing. You just kind of want to let it fall off the poster board. Then, to thin out the edges, you can smear those edges in. Just be careful, because like I said, every time you bring that poster board back and put it in your white, you're bringing back a little of the gray as well, and you're going to start to ruin that perfect white color you want to go for. So just get some, tap it on there. That'll keep the brightness to it. And if you need it to be brighter, you can always put down another layer of white on top of that. Or of course, like I've said, you can definitely just wait for each layer to dry, and it will definitely come out a lot better. But if you're in a hurry, like I am, you're just impatient, then this works. It works. I mean, they smear together. It looks right. Here we go. See how this one's here starting to look like a mountain peak. I'm going to go ahead and bring this little edge up here, make another little cliff edge like the other one has. Make sure the very tips are a lot wider than the bottoms of the mountain. Just kind of smear it in there, blend it in. Just where the light hitting off of it, once you want that to be the brightest section of your mountain. Pieces that stick out the farthest off of the surface of the mountain. And that'll really give it that rocky look. Now, if this is a beginner kind of level mountain, you really get into those layers, let each layer dry, get into them, and put on layer after layer of the different colors, the different shades of each of these colors here, and you will find the most realistic looking mountains throughout spray paint art. It is amazing some of the things you'll find, and you think to yourself, wow, that's made with spray paint. No way. There's no way that's made with spray paint. It's gotta be. I've seen one that I thought it has to be digital, and if it wasn't for me watching him paint that in person, I would have really thought it was just kind of digitally printed off of a computer. It was crazy. But this is a very nice mountain for beginner level mountains. And that's just kind of where I'm at, beginner, intermediate mountains. I wouldn't say I've got an expert in mountain making yet. But our first mountain here on the left is looking really nice, so we gotta do it justice and give his little buddy over here some realistic looks. Now, of course, this would look a lot better if we had done the background first before you put in your mountain, because these mountains just sitting on the plain white background isn't doing them too much justice, and I didn't think that one through. I should have maybe just at least thrown a blue layer in the back just to kind of help them stand out. But I was just thinking about making these mountains for y'all, showing you how to make them for anyone who's never made a mountain or wanted to, tried and just made kind of a little dark blob. I've done it. I've made a dark blob. Call it a mountain. But here we go. I mean, it's almost done here. See, not too much to it. So if you could picture maybe a nice blue in the back, a little sunset going, you would see that these really do stand out and pop. And then you can go over these if you had a blue and add a little blue to this white, just a little blue to it. Give it such a light shading of blue, and you give it some little highlights of that there on top of the bright whites. Talk about a mountain that stands out. So this is our mountains here. You can always step back for a moment, look at them, decide maybe where you want to do any little touch-ups. And here I'm going to do another white layer, a little brighter. Just kind of put it on, let it drip off, like that one there, just kind of dripped off there. Brighten up a few more areas. Make them look like they're really standing outward from the surface. Now I do get carried away sometimes and we'll put way more than I need to put. Less is more. And I ended up putting a lot more than I should put. But, those are little mistakes that we all make. And in the end, it still looks good. It's your painting. So here I'll put a little black near the bottom, shade it in, just to kind of maybe help those stand out a little more in your eyes here on the video, because I should have done maybe a blue background on this. I apologize for that, guys. I do hope you guys try this at home, though. This is, it's fun. I think if you're working on doing shadowing, layers of colors, you should start with trees and or mountains, because both of those, you can get a lot of little fine details in without overwhelming yourself with a huge picture. You can just do kind of a simple blue background on the canvas or poster board, and then just put a mountain on it. And even that little black spray underneath the mountain on the front, it'd be an amazing painting. If you're new to it, you would do that, you would finish it, and you'd go, wow, I did this. This is awesome. If you're watching this and you know how to paint, then I'm sure you're thinking, wow, this is horrible. But there they are. That's beginner painting of some mountains, how to do mountains. It's pretty simple. Do try it at home. It is an easy thing to do. Just black and white, spray paint, very simple. 2 colors, the cheap stuff, a couple of little pieces of poster board paper, index cards, if you have them, little side paper to put your paint on, maybe a paper plate, old painting you messed up on, something, magazine sheet, and make you some mountains. Just remember where your light source is. Do at least 3 layers of colors, black, gray, and then white, and that'll give it a little more depth than it had. Alright guys, so that's the mountains. They're beginner level mountains. You might could call them intermediate level mountains. The video, like I said, I do wish I would have maybe painted the background a light blue or something to really help the mountain stand off of it's a white background, so it doesn't pop as well as it should. But if you tried them at home and you did the background first, let it dry, do the mountains, you'd be amazed, and you'd be very happy at what you've accomplished if you've never made mountains before. Do try to use at least 3 color layers. Black, white, give a little gray in the middle there. You can just mix black and white together till you get the something a little lighter than black, and then a couple of layers. It just helps it to stand out, makes it look a little more 3D, a little more realistic, gives it that depth. So definitely make sure you use at least 3 layers. I use black and white. I can go over it, and it gave it maybe 4. You could probably say there was 5 layers in there. I'm gonna say I went with at least 4 color layers, and I mean, it looks amazing, and that's how I do my mountains, and I'm very happy with them. I have seen mountains that look so realistic, it's crazy. Done with spray paint, and those are mountains that I'm thinking people had to take hours on to do. I've seen some done in person that were really realistic, and they took about 20 minutes to do. You just have to really know your color layers, and yeah, I'm kind of new at it still. I mean, I have my fun with it, so do try it at home. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please ask them down below in the comment section. Share the video, like the video. I do hope you guys subscribe if you're new to spray painting or acrylic painting. A lot of the techniques you find in spray painting can be used with acrylic painting, so I do hope you subscribe and follow along, grow with me as I get better at it, and we can get better at it together. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.